Imagine powering your home with nothing but sand, sunlight, and a bit of wire. Sounds impossible, right? But what if I told you that the next big energy breakthrough isn't locked away in a billion-dollar laboratory or hidden behind corporate patents? It could be sitting right in your backyard, waiting for you to discover it. Every day, we're told that energy storage is complicated, expensive, and out of reach for ordinary people. We're bombarded with headlines about rising electricity bills, battery shortages, and the environmental toll of mining rare metals for high-tech batteries. It's easy to feel trapped by a system that seems designed to keep us dependent on big companies and their costly, polluting solutions. But what if there's another way? What if the answer to clean, affordable, and independent energy has been hiding in plain sight all along? Today, I'm going to show you a simple, overlooked alternative, a DIY battery you can build yourself using materials you probably already have. This isn't science fiction or some internet myth. It's real, it works, and it's shockingly easy to make. Most people have never heard of this, but after today, you'll never look at sand the same way again. So, if you're ready to break free from the mainstream and take control of your own energy, future, stick around. Let's uncover the science, the secrets behind this backyard battery. Before we dive into building your own battery, let's take a closer look at the batteries we all rely on every day. For over a century, battery technology has been dominated by a handful of designs. It started with the lead-acid battery in the 1800s, bulky, heavy, and full of toxic materials. Then came nickel-cadmium, nickel-metal hydride, and most recently, lithium-ion batteries. Each new generation promised more power and convenience, but they all share the same fundamental problems. They're expensive to produce, rely on scarce resources, and leave behind a trail of pollution. Think about what goes into a typical lithium-ion battery. The lithium itself is mined in remote regions, often under harsh conditions that devastate local environments and communities. Cobalt, another key ingredient, is linked to dangerous and exploitative labor practices. Once these batteries reach the end of their life, they become hazardous e-waste, piling up in landfills and leaching toxic chemicals into the soil and water. Recycling rates are shockingly low, and the process itself is energy-intensive and costly. But it's not just about the environment. The entire battery supply chain is tightly controlled by a handful of massive corporations and countries. Prices are set by global markets, and shortages can send costs skyrocketing overnight. If you want to store your own solar power or build a backup system, you're forced to play by their rules, paying whatever they demand, using whatever technology they allow. But what if you could break free from the system? What if you didn't have to rely on expensive, polluting, and tightly controlled batteries? What if there was a way to store energy that's simple, sustainable, and completely within your reach? Let's look at the science they don't teach in school. Let's break down the science behind this backyard battery, and I promise, no PhD required. At its core, a battery is just a device that moves electrons from one place to another, creating a flow of electricity. Think of it like a water wheel. You need a difference in height for water to flow and spin the wheel. In a battery, you need a difference in electrical potential, what scientists call voltage, to get electrons moving through a circuit. This movement is what powers your devices, from flashlights to smartphones. Every battery has three main parts, two electrodes and something in between called an electrolyte. The electrodes are usually made of different materials, each with a unique ability to give up or accept electrons. The electrolyte is like a bridge, allowing ions to move between the electrodes while keeping the electrons flowing through your external circuit, like the wire you'll use. So, why sand? Most people see sand as just dirt on the beach, but it's actually packed with silicon and other minerals. Silicon is a fascinating element. It's the backbone of modern electronics, and it has some surprising properties when it comes to storing and moving energy. In the right conditions, the minerals in sand can act as both an electrolyte and a source of ions, helping to facilitate the chemical reactions that generate electricity. Some sands are even naturally conductive, especially if they contain traces of iron or other metals. Now, let's talk about sunlight. Sunlight isn't just for solar panels. When you expose certain minerals in sand to sunlight, you can actually boost the chemical reactions happening inside your battery. The energy from the sun can excite electrons, making it easier for them to jump from one material to another. This means your battery can work more efficiently, or even recharge itself, just by sitting in the sun. And finally, the wire. The wire is your highway for electrons. It connects the two electrodes, completing the circuit and allowing electricity to flow where you need it. Without the wire, you've got a pile of sand and some metal. Add the wire, and you've got a working battery. Here's the best part. You already have everything you need, if you know where to look. Ready to see how it all comes together? Now it's time to roll up your sleeves and get hands-on. Building a sand battery isn't just a science experiment. It's a chance to experience the thrill of discovery and self-reliance. You don't need a fancy lab or expensive parts. In fact, you probably have most of what you need already. Here's your materials list and why each item matters. First, you'll need sand. Not all sand is created equal, so if you can, Collect sand from a riverbank or beach. These often contain more minerals and trace metals than the ultra-clean play sand from a hardware store. If you only have access to store-bought sand, don't worry, it'll still work, just with slightly different results. Next, you'll need 2 different types of metal to act as electrodes. Copper wire is ideal for one side, thanks to its excellent conductivity and availability. For the other electrode, galvanized steel or even an old zinc-coated nail works well. The difference in metals is what creates the voltage. You'll also need a small non-metallic container. Think a plastic cup, glass jar, or even a sturdy plastic bag. This will hold your sand and keep everything in place. Grab some distilled water too. Tap water can contain minerals that might interfere with your results, so distilled is best for consistency. Finally, you'll need a multimeter to measure your battery's output, and some alligator clips or extra wire to make connections. Let's start by preparing the sand. If you collected it yourself, sift out any large debris, shells, or organic matter. Rinse the sand thoroughly with distilled water to remove salts and impurities, then spread it out on a tray and let it dry completely. Dry sand is crucial. Moisture can short-circuit your battery or cause inconsistent results. If you're using store-bought sand, give it a quick rinse and dry as well, just to be safe. Now, set up your container, pour a layer of dry sand into the bottom, about halfway full. Insert your 2 electrodes on opposite sides of the container, making sure they don't touch each other. Push them deep enough into the sand so they're stable, but leave enough sticking out to attach your wires. If you want to boost performance, you can lightly moisten the sand with a few drops of distilled water, just enough to make it slightly damp, not wet. This helps ions move more easily between the electrodes. Next, connect your wires. Attach 1 wire to each electrode using alligator clips, or by wrapping the wire tightly around the exposed metal. These wires will carry the electricity from your battery to whatever you want to power, or to your multimeter for testing. If you're feeling ambitious, you can connect several sand batteries in series, positive to negative, to increase the voltage, or in parallel, positive to positive, negative to negative, to boost the current. Now comes the sunlight. Place your sand battery in a sunny spot, or shine a strong lamp on it. The sunlight will energize the minerals in the sand, helping to kickstart the chemical reactions inside your battery. If you have a small solar cell, you can experiment by connecting it in parallel with your battery to see if you get a boost in output. It's time to test your creation. Set your multimeter to measure DC voltage and touch the probes to the ends of your wires. You should see a small voltage, typically between 0.5 and 1.5 volts, depending on your materials and setup. If you want to measure current, switch your multimeter to the appropriate setting and connect it in series with a small load, like an LED or a digital clock. Troubleshooting is part of the fun. If you're not getting any voltage, double check that your electrodes aren't touching inside the sand. Try adjusting the moisture level. Too much or too little can both cause problems. Experiment with different types of sand, metals, or even adding a pinch of salt to the sand to see how it affects performance. Remember, most people give up here, but you're about to see real results. You've just built a working battery from sand, sunlight, and wire, but how does this stack up against the batteries you know? Let's find out. So, you've built your sand battery and measured a voltage. Now comes the moment of truth. What can this humble setup actually power? Let's start small. If you connect your sand battery to a low-power device like an LED, you'll see it flicker to life. It's a simple, satisfying proof that your homemade battery is generating real electricity. Try hooking it up to a digital clock or a small calculator. These devices require very little current, and you'll be amazed to see them running on nothing but sand, sunlight, and wire. But what about something bigger? Here's where things get interesting. A single sand battery produces a modest voltage and current, but just like stacking bricks to build a wall, you can combine multiple sand batteries to increase their power. Connect several units in series and you'll see the voltage add up. Link them in parallel and you'll boost the current. With a little patience and experimentation, you can power more demanding devices. Think small radios, motion sensors, or even charge a basic phone in an emergency. The key is scalability. The more batteries you build and connect, the more energy you can store and use. Now let's compare this to the store-bought batteries you're used to. A standard AA battery delivers about 1.5 volts and can power a flashlight for hours. Your sand battery, depending on the materials and setup, might produce a similar voltage but with less current and shorter duration. It's not going to replace your lithium-ion power bank just yet, but it's a powerful demonstration of what's possible with everyday materials. And unlike disposable batteries, your sand battery is non-toxic, easy to rebuild, and endlessly customizable. Imagine scaling this up. What could you power next? A string of garden lights, a weather station, or even a small emergency backup for your phone? The possibilities are limited only by your creativity and willingness to experiment. But here's the real question. If this is possible with such simple materials, why haven't you heard about it before? If building a battery from sand, sunlight, and wire is so simple, why isn't everyone doing it? The answer lies in the economics of energy and the way our world is wired, pun intended. The big players in the energy industry profit from complexity. The more specialized, high-tech, and proprietary a battery is, the more they can charge for it. Simpler, open-source solutions don't fit their business model. There's no incentive for corporations to promote technology that anyone can build at home for pennies. History is full of examples where practical, sustainable tech was ignored or even actively suppressed. Think about the early days of electric cars, or Nikola Tesla's experiments with wireless energy. These ideas were sidelined not because they didn't work, but because they threatened established profits and power structures. The same goes for countless DIY innovations, solutions that are hidden in plain sight because they don't make anyone rich. There's also a cultural factor. We're conditioned to believe that real solutions come from experts in white coats, not from curious tinkerers in garages or backyards. The DIY movement challenges that narrative, empowering people to experiment, share, and improve on ideas outside the mainstream. But it's an uphill battle against marketing, patents, and the inertia of the way things have always been done. Now, you're part of a growing movement. Don't let this knowledge go to waste. Every time you build, share, or improve a simple solution like the sand battery, you chip away at the myth that energy has to be complicated and expensive. So, what's next? Let's look at how you can take this further. Now that you've built your first sand battery, the real fun begins. This is just the starting point. There are endless ways to improve efficiency and push the boundaries of what's possible. Try experimenting with different types of sand or mix in minerals like iron filings or activated charcoal to boost conductivity. Test various metals for your electrodes. Aluminum, magnesium, or even scrap metal can yield surprising results. Adjust the moisture level or try layering your sand with other natural materials to see how it affects output. Don't keep your discoveries to yourself. Document your builds with photos, videos, and notes. Share your results online. There are thriving communities on forums like Reddit, Instructables, and dedicated DIY energy groups. Makerspaces and open source projects are always looking for new ideas and contributors. By sharing your experiments, you help others learn faster and inspire even more innovation. Remember, the next breakthrough could come from your garage. Every tweak, every test, every shared result brings us closer to practical, sustainable energy solutions that anyone can access. You're not just building a battery, you're joining a global movement of makers, tinkerers, and independent thinkers who refuse to accept that's just the way it is. So, what's the bigger picture? Let's wrap up with why this matters now more than ever. Today, you started with a simple question. Could you really make a battery from sand, sunlight, and wire? We explored the problems with mainstream batteries, uncovered the science behind this overlooked solution, and walked step by step through building your own. You saw firsthand that energy, independence isn't just for corporations or experts. It's something you can achieve with curiosity and a few basic materials. This isn't just about powering a light or running a clock. It's about self-sufficiency, resilience, and the spirit of innovation. In a world where energy is tightly controlled and often expensive, knowing how to create your own solutions is a powerful skill. You're now part of a community that values hands-on learning and isn't afraid to challenge the status quo. So here's your call to action. Try building your own sand battery, share your results, and join the conversation. Subscribe for more DIY science, alternative energy, and hidden tech that you won't find in the mainstream. Don't let this be another secret you forget. Take action today and be part of the movement to change the world one experiment at a time.